We're joined by head coach Steve Norman with the Meadowbrook Colts, 4-6 in 2024, but looking for a great year this year in 2025. And coach, always appreciate your time. And I know that you're not obviously looking to week one just yet because you're doing your installs and your camp and your scrimmages and everything like that. But I couldn't help but notice that you open up week one against Tri-Valley, and of course the sudden passing of their new head coach Josh Wright, recently just kind of shaken up that team and that community. And I know the MVO coaching is just so good across the league. It's been tremendous, and he's been around coaching the league, for 30 plus years at Philo with Dirk, and obviously he was with Cam last year, and now he takes the head job and everything. And I just was curious just to kind of get your reaction to that news a couple weeks ago and just how it's shaken up that team and I guess how they move forward and things.
Yeah, first, that's heartbreaking. We certainly are mindful of, the struggle that will be for Tri-Valley. Just, football aside, we care about people, and that's what it's about. That's what it's always about. It's people. And, to lose coach in a situation like that is, that is truly heartbreaking. So we, our thoughts are, with Tri-Valley program and, how they overcome that. It's not going to be easy. And, I didn't know Coach Wright personally. I know Coach Linscomb at Philo thought, super highly of him. Obviously Tri-Valley and Coach West thought highly of him to put him in charge. So I'm sure that'll be a tremendous loss and something that, you just don't get over stuff like that. You try to find ways to deal with it. I'm sure they're gonna honor him, throughout the season. And just from the sounds of it, like the impact that he made on just, every year of coaching around kids and the impact that it sounds like he had on, hundreds, thousands, however many kids that he's came in contact with. I'm sure he's in their thoughts and prayers, and I'm sure they're going to honor him to the best of their ability. But yeah, it's tough. I'm sure he was, super excited to be named the head coach again. I know he had a previous stint, I want to say, at Burn Union years ago. But it's that's not a situation that you wish on anybody, and we certainly wish him the best as they move forward.
Yeah, and I know you've been coaching for 20 years, been around Meadowbrook for so long, and
sure.
Obviously you've seen it all the ups and downs and things of leading a program, and I think better than most that nothing's ever guaranteed. Did you happen to share kind of a similar message with the team as you were getting ready for your off season, just kind of about that situation, how not only football but life is just nothing's ever guaranteed. You never know when the last of anything is?
Well, one thing that we do talk about generally is, and again, it kind of just goes back to the people, but one, how you treat people matters. Take advantage of any and all opportunities that you have, not only to interact with each other, but to understand that you never really know when that last moment that you might see someone, that last conversation that you might ever have with anybody. So again, trying to keep your best foot forward. We've had some some situations that have come up with our own program. And not that all situations are the same, but similar. So yeah, we do have those conversations with kids, and just about moving on. How to and it's okay to have those moments. Where it's okay for grown men and young men to you're allowed to shed tears, you're allowed to feel emotion, you're allowed to say and show that you love somebody, or and you're allowed to express hurt, and when something like that happens. So we try to have those conversations with our kids on a regular basis. But yeah, that one is obviously certainly unique, and again, just we hope nothing but the best for those kids and his family. And I'm sure they're going to find a lot of the positive, like once the hurt is not gone, but once you learn to deal with the hurt, then you really start to focus on all the great moments and interactions and time that they got to spend, and hopefully they honor that, for the rest of their life. So.
Yeah, no, I really appreciate you sharing your thoughts on that situation. And again, super unfortunate, but I guess we'll shift to something, more positive. You and your football team and your program. What's the off season been like, for you so far? And I guess what's coming up over the next month or so as you get ready for week one, as far as scrimmages and things like that?
Yeah. The off season, it's always interesting. Well, as you know, you coach track, so you have, there's that moment in time where you kind of lose, I don't want to say my athletes, but like you lose our team because they're off, running track, playing baseball, doing things. We try to keep them, as long as we can in the weight room. But again, sometimes the times don't work out. So now they're working out with different coaches and things like that, which is great. We encourage those kids to play multiple sports. I think that's valuable for any and all student athletes. Play multiple sports. It's only going to benefit you. But as far as the off season, now that, we start to get a lot of the guys back, we still have a little bit of basketball camp and stuff going on, but the summer's been good. It's been progressing really well. As far as our total numbers, a little down from where we were last year, which, is disappointing. Obviously, you want as many kids to experience the great game of football and all the things that come with it. But again, we have, the kids that have been showing up have been, they work hard. They're excited. We've had, a couple 7-on-7s, last couple weeks ago, we went up to the University of Pitt, which is always, we've kind of done that one yearly, which is always a great early season test because you're going against some really good big schools, some really high level teams up there. We had a local one with Buckeye Trail maybe a week or two ago, and then actually this Friday coming up, we're actually going down to Ironton. We're going to go with the defending state champs there, and with a few other teams. But I always tell the kids, and I tell our parents, and as much as I can, like I like exposing our kids to any and all, whether it be high level competition, going to the Pitt camp. Last couple of years we've taken our whole team up to a high state camp, and again, you see some really, really good football players up there. And I will tell parents and kids at all times, I love exposing them to those situations. Ultimately, if we can give them those kind of experiences, maybe they'll never get again. We'll try and do that. But yeah, as far as the summer, then, once the Ironton scrimmage is up, we have New Lexington's actually putting on a lineman challenge the following week, which will be exciting. I think a lot of the NBL teams are going to be there. And then really after that, you get ready. We got Sandy Valley as our first scrimmage, and then Buckeye Trail is our second scrimmage, which I think should be really exciting for the local people. I think that should be a good turnout. And then we open up week one Tri-Valley, which is now we're going to actually open up on Thursday night this year.
Right.
Week one. So yeah, it's coming fast. And again, I enjoy everything about it. I enjoy, and you can relate to this as a coach. You enjoy the process much more than the prize. The daily work and the daily improvement that you get to see from kids is so much more rewarding than just, the game or the, whatever the final record. So again, process over prize is big, and I think our kids are excited. We're looking forward to for football. So,
what are your thoughts on the Thursday week one? I mean, it's an opportunity to, I guess, get more people at the game, and then more people can go to games on Fridays and stuff.
Sure,
and obviously, if there's a week to do a Thursday game, it is week one, because then you get an extra day to prep for week two and whatnot. I mean, what are your thoughts on it?
Well, yeah, a few years ago, I would watch. There was a few teams. I can't remember exact years, but I know there was a year where I think Steubenville had opened up on a Thursday night. And I think Barnesville maybe a couple years ago that I actually went to. And I thought, what a great, because you are basically the only game going. We're two MVL schools, obviously Tri-Valley, a great football tradition, great community support. I expect that atmosphere to be pretty electric. Again, it's an opportunity for other MVL schools, because usually your Thursday's game, the prior to, it's kind of a lighter practice day. You kind of get out a little bit early. So I would imagine there's going to be, a pretty good, should be a pretty well attended game with, not just, the Tri-Valley fans and the Meadowbrook fans, but also just fans of MVL and who are itching to, get back to football season. It's kind of, summer starts to get a little slow right now unless you're a Major League Baseball fan. But,
Right.
really once Friday nights, once high school season kicks off, then you got college football right after and the pros. So people are generally itching. So we just thought, let's see if, if obviously if Tri-Valley would be interested in doing that. And again, just to showcase, two NBL programs and, kind of give us a day to kind of be by ourselves and let people come out and watch. So,
yeah, help people scratch that itch just a day early,
That's right. That's right.
Yeah. Now, a really unique story with your team. It might be more unique than any other team in the state. And I know they did a feature on this last year, I think. But like Hailey Arnold's on your football team as a kicker. So having a girl on your football team is obviously very unique. And you've seen stories like that across the country and things. But
sure.
She's on the track team, and she's just such a hard worker and just such a lively, bright, bubbly attitude. Like she just works hard, and she just I can just tell she just loves life. I mean, what's it like having her kind of on your team? And obviously, she does a great job for you. And what's that story been like the last couple of years?
Yeah, well, I think you said it. Hailey, first and foremost, she's just a great kid. Like she enjoys. Again, just like we had said earlier, she enjoys the process. Like in the summer workouts, she is there. She is in the weight room. She lifts. She, when guys are doing let's say individual offense or group, but she's down there working on her craft of kicking. She is a hard worker, fantastic student. Which we want everybody to be, right? Student athlete. She takes the student part very seriously. And no, she does a great job. She works really hard, and she is as competitive as anybody.
Oh my God, yeah.
So, which only makes it better. Now, her brother, who is a sophomore, those two, and he is also he's another hardworking kid. So yeah, Hailey's been she's been great. Hopefully she has a great year this year. Hopefully she has a lot of opportunities because that means we're scoring. So
right, yeah.
But yeah. So
and hopefully they're extra points and not field goals though. You're capping them off with touchdowns.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. We like touchdowns. So.
Yeah. So how close do you think your team is this year to getting over the hump? Because like last year, or is in 2023, I think you were 4-1, and then you kind of hit a slide to kind of close the year. And then last year you were 4-3 with big wins against John Glenn and Coshocton, and then you closed the year with 3 straight losses. I mean, does it feel like your Colts are just like right there to kind of getting through that midseason like momentum, and then you close the year strong?
Right. Yeah. We felt as if we were close, and and I don't want to say, we didn't do this or do that, because the reality is, and I think you touched on it earlier, we play a pretty demanding schedule. Like when the small school NBL schedule starts, Crooksville was a very tough physical football team last year. Coshocton is always tough and physical. Then you have New Lex, Maysville, West End, we were 4-3. We had a big win against John Glenn, had some momentum. Then we got the win against Coshocton. We felt as if we had put ourselves in position, if we could have closed the season stronger, to get in the playoffs. But again, it's, the teams that play are really good, and you have to bring your A game each and every Friday. And we didn't do that. So it's kind of, okay, what do we do this year? We do return quite a lot of our defensive side of the, with the addition of, so last year, week 7, we lost Will Smalley, who at the time was our leading tackler on defense. So that hurt. So we do have a lot of those guys coming back. And then offensively, we've had a quarterback in there for 3 years. So now we have a new QB. But we still have, a lot of our skill kids, Bentley and Braylon, who they had fantastic seasons last year. Along with Jake Burris, we look for those guys to be, as improving. We got 2 of those 3 that I mentioned are going to be seniors now. So, hopefully we can get over the hump. But again, it's obviously starting week 1. not easy, right? Tri-Valley, not easy.
Right.
Week 2, Barnesville, not easy. Week 3, you got our rival across the county. It's not easy. And then you get Crooksville, not going to be easy. Week 5 is Philo. Week 6, John Glenn.
It's a gauntlet, man.
It is a gauntlet. But again, I tell everybody, and I honestly, I wouldn't have it any other way as far as who we get to play, when we get to play them, putting our kids in against those programs that I have a lot of respect for. I wouldn't change it. I'm sure there's some people who are probably not happy with my scheduling prowess or maybe lack thereof. But again, I look to challenge our kids. The kids who play football, I think they enjoy it. They want to be tested. Those kids are out there. They're competitive. They want to put themselves against the best, and I think that's what we do. And so yeah, hopefully we can make those. First and foremost, coaching, getting us over the hump. Like how do I make it better for them so that we can have more success? So that's always the goal. That's always the off-season plan, even the in-season plan as you're watching film and whatnot. So we feel pretty good coming into the summer. Again, we have a lot of guys back. We do lose a lot of size up front, which will be a little different. We won't look as big as we did last year for sure, but hopefully we can make up for that in other ways. Maybe a little faster, maybe a little more athletic. So, we'll see. In here a few weeks, we're going to find out. So,
yeah. Do you view the John Glenn game as a rivalry? Because it wasn't that way when I was in school. It was Cambridge, the team up north. That's the rivalry, and I guess it was maybe starting to become that way when I was graduating on the way out. But it seems like now that I've been in coaching for a few years and I hear kids talk and other coaches talk like that, the John Glenn game in any sport, like that's a rivalry nowadays. Do you view it that way?
I think so. But again, I view a lot of the teams on our schedule as rivals.
Sure, yeah.
For either one being just having played certain teams. Like, for example, a lot of people don't think of this, but we have played Coshocton uninterrupted. Even during COVID year and all that, the longest of anyone. Like back for forever. So I view Coshocton as that's a rivalry to me. We played them for. I don't know the exact number of years, but it seems like about 40 years that we've been playing Coshocton.
Yeah.
And obviously, you have them over up there in the big city, as we like to call it. But yeah, I would look at John Glenn as one, just it's close. We're bordering school districts. A lot of our kids know their kids. And really, at least when I was growing up, we never played John Glenn in football, because they were always part of the MVL, and their schedule was pretty much set, and we were in, whether it be the PVC and then ECL or whatever it was. Like there was just we never played them until maybe 10 years ago we started to play. But I would look at it as a rivalry game. I know our kids get super excited. I know our community gets excited. I would like to think. When we go to New Concord and play those games, their fans and their student section is very excited. So I would look at it as a rivalry game. Whether or not, it's not the only rivalry game that we have. Of course, with now that Barnesville's back on the schedule, that was a long-standing traditional game. Week 2.
Sure.
So then, obviously them and, John Glenn and just, as we've started to play in the MVL, now we have, West Muskingum has been our week 10 now for years. So that's kind of a building, each one.
Right.
I kind of look at just about every team as a rival. I don't know if that just, helps, the chip on it, whatever it is.
Sure.
A little extra motivated. I do refer to, I joke with the kids, I do refer to like when we play John Glenn or them, I kind of call those the Walmart games because you're going to see those people at Walmart and you want to be able to wear your football shirt and know that when you walk past them, if they have their football shirt on, you want to, make sure that your shirt, maybe it's like you stick your chest out a little bit more.
Yeah, you let them know.
Yeah, we call that I call them Walmart games. You got to be able to walk into Walmart. So, but yeah, we view that as a rivalry. Again,
sure.
I have a lot of respect for Coach Edwards over there. I think he runs a great program, and they are always, Coach Bend on that defense are always good. So, Yeah, I view it as a rivalry. It's kind of a long answer to your short question, but yeah, that's
That's
the
all
way I
right.
look at it.
No, I love it. Now, saying all of that, I still do wish that I'm saying Cambridge as a member of Storied Rivals, but the
Sure.
team up
No, I,
north, the team up north, like it's got to be a week 10 game or like at least week 1. Week 3 just feels random to me. I guess it is kind of the same spot every year now, and it doesn't really matter when you play them.
right.
But it just as far as the magnitude of the rivalry, and I know like not in the same league anymore, obviously, but like I feel like that game has just got to be week 1 or week 10, because like that's just the way it was when I was growing up.
Yeah, no, I mean, you got so used to playing that week 10. And a lot of times, it's the last game of the season. This is the rest of your off season hinges on this game. Is it going to go? You're going to go in positive to the end of the season, or is it going to be like, oh man, we lost to them? But there is an advantage to the week 3 is that after so for example, the last 2 years, week 2, we had. We played obviously a very good Indian Valley team, and when they won the state championship last year,
right?
And they were a physical, tough team. But as soon as that game was over, I mean, I'm talking 15 minutes in the locker room. It's like immediately your attention goes to your rival, them, and it's like, all right, let's lock in and focus on what we need to do. So, in that regard, it does heighten their attention immediately going into that week 3 game. So, but I'm sure like week 1, you could build it up all summer, and build up the hype, or week 10, obviously, as it used to be. But as long as they're on the schedule somewhere,
right.
I think, we can live with that. So,
yeah, it doesn't matter. You got to beat them anyway. So,
yeah, that's right. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, I appreciate you talking for 20, 25 minutes, Coach. And it feels like yesterday I was sitting in your classroom. We were playing basketball and a mini hoop in there and jamming to music on Fridays and everything. And now I help Coach John Epperson with the track team, and so I get to interview you every year. I really appreciate it, man. And you're definitely someone that I admire and look up to. So I always appreciate your time.
Hey, well, I appreciate you, and I'm glad you're working with the Meadowbrook athletes. Listen, our goal is we're all together. Right. So one coach helps another. And, again, I'm glad you're part of it. Appreciate Storied Rivals. You guys do a great job. And, hopefully we have a lot of highlights, throughout the year of the Colts. So.